Walter Tortoise was a pool player. Best I ever seen, he was an 8-ball magician. With his eye on the green, he could make $500. In a one-night go around, there was a lot of empty pockets. When Walter came to town, he could cue his way with Frisco Bay all the way to Maine. Every side pocket corner town was spotted for his game. He must have come from somewhere, but just where I never knew. I met him in Seattle on First Avenue. He was too-third drunk and drinking to make his other third. And when I sat me down beside him to hear what could be heard, he was losing to his limit. At his limit, it was clean $20 worth of quarters in a gambling machine. And the more he lost, the more he laughed and drained the drafty beers as he fed his final quarter and watched it disappear. And when a girl came up and won it all with just a single try, well, he laughed so hard till his eye began to cry. Then he said, "These metal bandits ain't my cup of gruel." And I says, "What's your real game?" And he says, "Playing pool." Why, only just the other night he had 'em on their toes, winning everybody's money up at Smoky Joe's. He said he was a shark of such dangerous degrees, he could hustle up a bundle nearly any place he pleased. He'd won more fortunes than the Rockefeller clan. Not bad for just an indigent with chalk dust on his hands. Well, I listened to his talking just the way that you would do. And I said, "All right, if you're so good, I'll see you to the queue." He laughed at me so hard I thought he'd surely come to harm. Then he said, "All right, I'll play you, but I'll only use one arm." I racked him up and broke him, and I even sunk a few, until one-arm Walter took his stance and loaded up his cue. And with the blinding combination cleared the table all and over. They laughed again and grinned, said, "I play better when I'm sober." We wandered off, in and out, and squandered through the night until I got lost and he got taken off to see the sights. And I wound up in a strange one with a head to make you wince. But wherever was where he was, I ain't never seen him since. Yes, Walter was a pool player. Everybody knows he could rack him and attack him. He could sink him with his eyes closed. I may not know much of nothing, I ain't got the cure, but Walter Tortoise was a pool player. I know that for sure. Good morning. It's a beautiful, chilly, if not sub-zero, noonish on Saturday. Scattered clouds, seagull. I almost said the odd seagull, but I don't know it well enough to say that it's odd. I just know it's a seagull flying overhead. And this is the driveway, and this is the Liveway from the driveway. And that was a song called Walter Tortoise. And that's a true story, as is this. Speaking of First Avenue, hold on, let me get this on the way. There you go. Well, it's midnight on the ice tonight. Everyone has gone to bed, except for Lonesome Sally with her aspirins in her head. She's peeking through the keyhole where the doorway meets the hall, watching for a stranger who is long, dark, and tall. So when long, tall Howie with ribbons in his hair comes skipping down the hallway singing everything is fair, she knows he's a nice guy, but she doesn't like his looks, 'cause he ain't long and tall enough. So she goes back to reading books. Down by the benches and Benny's hungry shoes, down by the water on First Avenue. Now the Blue Streak purist bus, it comes in right on time. The driver gagged and crossbone tied up way behind. A skinny kid with afro is driving the wheel for us, and he don't allow nobody to pay to ride on his bus. Taxi cab and French horn play midnight melody. As vanishing Lucy paints her face with mystery, and as she vanishes finally, a hummingbird does growl along the foamy waterfront where the Jesus people prowl. Down by the wharf benches and Benny's hungry shoes, down by the water on First Avenue. Now Sergeant Frank is terrified. With his policeman's badge and hat, he's afraid of men with beards, especially if they're fatso, and fat-bearded Poco comes and taps him on the boot. Poor Sergeant Frank jumps clean out of his suit. Now Poco puts it on and goes walking off down the street, shooting off his guns on his new policeman's beat, while somewhere in the city a naked sergeant's on the loose as Poco pawns his uniform to buy a jug of juice. Down by the benches and Benny's hungry shoes, down by the water on First Avenue. Now in the private residential clubs, behind the ivied walls, if you could peek in through the windows, you could see them one and all, hallucinating futures where the money grows on trees and falls into their pockets just as easy as you please. 50 years later, and it has come to pass that the money trees are everywhere, but no one gets the cash except for those who already hold the levers of the day, and they don't really need it, but they get it anyway. Down by the benches and Benny's hungry shoes, down by the water on First Avenue. That's right. The weather's getting harder now. Everybody knew it would. Sequestered in the underbrush collecting firewood. The ocean water rising and the groundwater sunk while the billionaires are stuffing all their money in a trunk. It's a massive system failure. It's the end of TV. It's a catastrophic undertow to suck you out to sea. And as the sun begins to set, you can see it give a grin and say, I'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see what happens then. Down by the benches and Benny's hungry shoes, down by the water on First Avenue. down by the benches and Benny's hungry shoes, down by the water on First Avenue. Another old song, goes way back to like 1972, I think. Maybe 71, man. But I think 72. I wrote it one night when I was walking home from the Fresh Air. The old Fresh Air Tavern. Where I had played. Maybe I don't know. But I was walking home from downtown. And I was living on the other side of Queen Anne Hill from downtown. Down by Seattle Pacific University. That's right. Yeah, Seattle Pacific. It was Seattle Pacific College back then, SPC. So I hope you're all right, wherever you are. It's an interesting world, isn't it? A better friend you never had, big brother, dear old dad, man about town, wheels rolling round, back in the old fresh air, seemed like everybody was there, Harvey Mandel and Sugar Cane, now it'll never be the same. There he is, and there he goes. There he is, and there he goes. You had a mean right swing, in and out of the ring, for the ones you love, and for the golden glove. And on a crosstown trail, riding around with the third rail, and all the boys in blue sure like to get their hands on you. There he is, and there he goes. There he is, and there he goes. I used to sleep on the couch with your scooter on the floor. I guess I won't be doing that anymore. Everything smelled like dogs and motor oil. It was an oasis in a world of turmoil. You're getting old or slowing down. You get a job downtown. You work in the longshore, just like your brother before. You get a wife and kids, best thing you ever did. Yeah, you love those little rugrats, and they loved you back. There he is, and there he goes. There he is, and there he goes. Yes, and I know we all must fly, and we have to say goodbye. So raise your glass and drink a toast to whoever it is that you love the most. Now I'm on my way. Every step is a brand new day. Yeah, life is good. It's going by just like it should. Yes, in this old town, sure got some stories to hold it down. And I know they broke the mold when this story got told. I know they broke the mold when this story got told. Everything okay? Cool, okay. Got me some ideas in advance here, and I'm dropping picks all over the place. I'll just try to remember that those are down there. That's what I'll do. You know what I mean? A lot of packages, 75 flat picks. So I could go ahead and lose a few. Hold a second, I'm going to do this. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to go a little far afield. We're going to go to Switzerland. I just about lived in Europe for about 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. I don't know. I'd have to reconstruct it. There's blurs in there, you know what I'm saying? That's how life goes. I had agents all over the place. I had an Irish agent, an English agent, German agent, you know, Scandinavian agent. They all kind of worked together, you know, Belgian agent. And a Swiss agent. The Swiss agent was an art student. And she was really cool. She was funny and smart. They all were. And one time along about 1980, I think it was, I was going to be going over there and doing a tour. But something happened that got it on all the newspapers, TV news, Time magazine, Newsweek, all that stuff. Students in Zurich, they had an uprising. And they went down to what's called the nickname is the most beautiful street in the world. And it's the Bahnhofstrasse, where Henry Kissinger used to sit around and read the Tagesanzeiger, which is a right-wing Swiss newspaper, right? Read it in the German, because that's Henry. Anyway, the students, as a spontaneous gathering mass, they gathered somewhere and then they decided to do something. They all went down to the Bahnhofstrasse at nighttime and they trashed the place, basically. They made a mess. And one of the things that they did, it was interesting what they did, though. It wasn't just like chaos. I mean, there were chaotic elements, but there was a thrust and a meaning and a direction to it. You know, I'm not advocating things, but I'm just telling you. They broke the windows of the furrier store, the place where they sold the mink coats. Broke the windows. They took the mink coats out, but they didn't steal them. They piled them up on the sidewalk, put lighter fluid on them, and burned them. It was interesting because if you look back, see, our media, newspapers and magazines and radio, they all said that the kids over there just went crazy. Now, I'm not all that smart, but I'm not stupid. And when a whole bunch of people do something as a group, they're not going crazy. That's not crazy. There's a reason to it. You might not like the reason. It might be the wrong reason. But there's a reason to it. And you'll never get anywhere in the world if you don't admit that. So I wrote to my agent and I asked her what's going on. And I'm on my way over. I'll be there in a couple of weeks. Can you if there's any time, can I go someplace? Can you take me someplace? Can you introduce me to people? So I wound up going to some student meetings and forums and things. I couldn't speak the language, but you know, they sat next to me. My friends did and told me what was going on. And I found out that like the story of what happened is centered around money and tightening the national belt because the money's getting tight. So they didn't have all the money in the world. Nobody does, I guess, and they had to decide what to do. What was most important? A youth center? You know, kids didn't have much to look forward to. They didn't have any jobs. There was, like, what do I do with myself? There were drugs running around. They needed a place for counseling, all that kind of stuff. That all happened at the youth center. So was that important? Or the opera? And what they did was they put all the money, they shut the youth center down because they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford it if they did what they decided to do, which was to refurbish the opera house. That's right. They shut the youth center down and they put the money into the opera house. So that's why the kids went out there and did what they did, and that's why they burnt those mink coats. Because the mink coats were worn by the people that went to the opera. And because it was a class thing and because it was a money thing. So they were showing me all this stuff, and I said, okay, I'm going to write a song about this. I'll send it to you when I'm done. And I just started putting things together, and I don't remember whether I waited until I got back home or wrote it on a train or something. I have no idea. It's been a long time. But it's called Zurich. Christy Moore recorded it once, ages ago. I never put it out on the record, but here it is. It goes like this. You meet out on the midnight street, underneath the lamplight bright, outside the diamond jewelry windows, dazzling your sight tonight. And something in the blood that pounds echoes in the hollow sound, and it all comes tumbling down in Zurich. It's taught among the rules of school that all that glitters must be gold, and those who would not play the fool must follow in the social mold. Oh, but the well-to-do, beautiful people on public view ain't got time for the likes of you in Zurich. It all begins one morning fine when the government money comes to town. A fortune goes to the opera, but not a penny trickles down to the youth center in the middle of town. Gonna have to close it down. Can't afford to have you hanging round in Zurich. All in a shattering instant then, upon that well-remembered night, in a sudden clash with bricks and bottles, comes the most surprising sight. As fired with a smoldering heat, 5,000 angry rebels meet and break every window on that most beautiful street in Zurich. Anarchy on streets of gold, lights a flashing sirens wail, frightened eyes behind the windows watch the young ones off to jail. Soldiers in their shouldered ranks, armed with the water cannon tanks and rubber bullets to protect the banks of Zurich. Battle lines are clearly drawn to show which side you're standing on. Those who sympathize in kind wake up to find their jobs are gone. Speaking up and speaking out depends on what you talk about. The real right is coming out in Zurich. How can such a trouble be? Is this the writing on the wall? The pillars of society Oh, how they give an anxious call, and orderly they call for peace, discipline to say the least. What we need is more police in Zurich. From the gardens of Geneva to the flowered streets of Amsterdam, anywhere I travel through, trouble passes hand to hand. In among these times of bees, no future do they see. That's the way it was explained to me in Zurich. Yeah, true. True story. As is this. Checking the time here. Oh, cool. Cool. Man, the time goes by when you're having fun. Talking to everyone. At least those that stop by, thanks for stopping by. This is a Seattle song. I live in Seattle. This is Seattle. You see around me here. I got in Seattle in 1971. That's when I got here. A lot of people remember me from the 60s in Seattle. It didn't happen. Memory is a funny thing like that. It's inventive. Memory and imagination are almost the same part of the brain. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Seattle is a very interesting town. I'll tell you about it. November 30th, 99, history, walking on a sidewalk line, big money pulling on invisible strings, getting into everything so deep. It's hard to believe in the waterfall, man. I know that. I know that. I was getting distracted, protracted. Oh, that's the world, man.
Distracted by my beauty.
That's the planet, yes. I'm gonna start that from the top, because I gotta live inside of it. It's a movie. I gotta see it in my head. November 30th, 99, history, walking on a tightrope line, big money pulling on invisible strings, getting into everything so deep. It's hard to believe it's in the food and the water and the air you breathe and the chemistry, the biotech, the banker with the bottomless check, the corporations and the CEOs. The bottom line is the profit grows, the money talks. You don't talk back, they don't like it when you act like that. But didn't we talk back? Shut it down, didn't we? November 30th, 99, Tuesday morning when we drew the line, the WTO coming to town and we swore we're gonna shut it down, and they stood there with their big police. They had the National Guard out to keep the peace with the guns and the clubs and the chemical gas, but still we would not let them pass. And they raised and roared and their tempers flared, and there were bombs bursting in the daylight air, and they'd run us off and they'd do us in, but we came right back again, didn't we? Shut it down, didn't we? November 30th, 99, millennium passing as the numbers climb. The people came from everywhere. Must have been 50,000 out there. There were farmers, unions, rank and file. Every grassroots has its own style. There were great big puppets 2 stories tall, drummers drumming in the shopping malls. There were so many people that you couldn't see how that many people got into the city, and the WTO delegates too. But we were locked down so they couldn't get through, didn't we? Shut it down, didn't we? November 30th, 99, locked down at the police line, and they hitting you with everything they got, but you ain't moving, like it or not. And they're tying your wrist with plastic cuffs, and they're loading you up on a great big bus, and they're taking you down to the Navy base, pepper spraying you right in the face, trying to break you down, trying to get you to kneel. But you got the unity, and this is for real, and they can't break a spirit that's coming alive. That's the kind of spirit that's bound to survive, didn't we? Shut it down, didn't we? Shut it down, didn't we? Now the newspaper's talking out a whole lot of trash about the violence of the people in black, and the cops are so tired they just had to attack. Secrets hidden in that deep dark hole of what they call City Hall may never be told. They can, but I was there, and I know what I saw. And all of those stories may get washed away in the rains, but this old town will never be the same, 'cause didn't we? Shut it down, didn't we? Yeah, you know, it's the greatest story ever told. David and Goliath, how you be so bold, standing up to the giant when the going gets hot, and all you got is a slingshot. Well, they tell me that the world turned upside down. You gotta pick it up and shake it, gotta turn it around, take it apart to rearrange it. I don't wanna save the world, I wanna change it. And don't let them tell you that it can't be done, 'cause they're gonna be the first ones to run. Just take a little lesson from Seattle town, WTO, and how we shut it down, didn't we? Shut it down, didn't we? Didn't we? Didn't we? Shut it down, didn't we? Oh, good. Whitney and Jason. North Carolina. Cool, excellent. So one day, I was sitting around about 30 years ago, maybe 40, sitting around a Pike Place market. There's a little alcove in there, a little courtyard. And I had a friend named Mary. Mary was a custodian. She grew up in Seattle. She was a lot older than I was, and she could tell me all about the old days. There was a cherry tree in that courtyard, starting to bloom. I was just sitting there smelling it, you know. She came by and I said, "Hi, Mary." She says, "Hi, Jim." I said, "I love this tree." She says, "They call that Angeline's tree." I said, "Angeline's tree? Who was Angeline?" She said, "Angeline was Chief Seattle's daughter. She used to live down here, near the Pike Place Market." That's what Mary said. I said, "Oh, really?" She said, "Yeah, people sometimes, they say they can see your ghost walking around the hallways in the market, sometimes at night. She doesn't hurt anybody. There's a ghost, she's just there." Well, I always kept that story in my head because I kind of liked it. I liked the idea of Angeline's tree. A few years back, I heard some more about the story. And I put it into a song, and it goes like this. In this beautiful country in which I'm living, there is a story that you'll find about a woman named Kiki So Blue, and how they called her Angeline. Angeline, Kiki So Blue. She was the eldest daughter of Chief Seattle. She watched the world disappear. She said, "You can build you a town around me. I'm not going anywhere." Angeline, Kiki So Blue. And it was the fine and expensive wife of Doc Maynard who defined her into something to be owned when she said, "You're much too beautiful for such an ugly name. From now on you will be known as Angeline, not Kiki So Blue." And they made her illegal, and all of her people and the children threw rocks behind her back. Oh, but Kiki So Blue had some rocks of her own, yes she did. And she threw them back. Angeline, Kiki So Blue. Landlord, landlord, look over your shoulder. Careful who you're talking to. Maybe somebody you stole something from. Come to take it back from you. Angeline, Kiki So Blue. So many thieves, for all that they have taken, they leave us with a world full of holes. Although we have rocks, we have heroes, and we will not do what we are told. Angeline, Kiki So Blue. All right, I'm making kind of an arc in my head here. So then, next song that comes into my mind to do, since we're on this track of thinking, is a song called "The Banker and the Boss," which I wrote a number of years ago, and it's the story of Jesus without any magic, because I don't do that. And I figured something must have happened. Either something actually happened or something was created over the centuries to have happened. But if you took the magic out of it, it would be, in either case, something like this. Jesus came from the ghetto with the rats and the crust of bread. Went downtown with a big idea, came back with a prize on his head. You've all heard the stories of the miracles and the king, but if you listen hard enough, you can hear the trapdoor swing. Don't let it fool you. It was the banker and the boss that took insurgent Jesus and hung him on a cross. Nobody cares about a ghetto kid when they stay where they belong. When you go stepping out of line, you know something's bound to go wrong. Jesus got smart one day, and he began to realize you never get anywhere in this world unless you organize. So went downtown and started talking. And then he talked some more, said it was the banker and the boss, keeping everybody poor. People listened, yes they did. They liked what he had to say, how the poor would inherit the world and the rich would have to pay. Now nobody cares about a ghetto kid until they go downtown, start agitating. And then the word just gets around, they send out their soldiers. With their shiny silver blades, they're going to take that troublemaker. They're going to lay him in the shade, bring him in on charges. No matter if they stick nothing personal, it's just politics. Nobody cares about a ghetto kid until they start to make some waves. Then the law kicks in with a vengeance. You know, it's always been that way. Jesus had a safe house. He had his comrades too. But an infiltrator turned him in, it's like they always do. And when they took him off in irons, you could hear his mother cry. They took him off in irons and sentenced him to die. And when they took him down from that execution cross, they thought about what he said, about the banker and the boss. And they knew it was a long time and a hard way to survive. And that the big idea was the right idea and they had to keep it alive. So when they told the story, they told it this way, that the soldiers killed the bottle with a genie inside, but the genie got away. Yeah, the genie got away. 'Cause nobody cares about a ghetto kid until it's too late. Then they gotta wash the blood off their hands and get the story straight. But don't let them fool you. There was a banker and a boss took insurgent Jesus and hung him on a cross. That was a neighbor just walking by on the street up there that I kind of smiled to as they were playing away there. It's a good neighborhood, this one is. Some great people here. Okay, and then I want to follow that with this, because I think we can put some of these myths and legends to work for us, and we can get somewhere with it if we do that. Damn it, and if we don't, we're just going to spin around in circles. Now, hold a second. Where's that piece of paper? It must be the last one. There we go, right there. All right, Katie and me went to, a couple of summers ago. There's this guy named Sean Feucht. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he is a evangelist. He's a long-haired, fire-breathing rock and roll evangelist with his own band and his own traveling church thing. And this was, they didn't have any vaccines yet. Okay, so it was touch and go, and there was like this battleground between people that wanted to get somewhere and save their neighbors and themselves and their families and their children and get past this, and then there were the people that wanted to say no, we don't take no stinking vaccine. We don't need no stinking vaccine card, no stinking badges, masks. We don't need to wear no stinking masks, right? And a lot of those people were, I'm sorry to have to say this, Trump supporters, Trumpsters. They had big Trump rallies with no masks, right? People going out to, motorcycle rallies with Trump flags and no masks. So here comes Sean Feucht to town. And he's got this reputation for having outdoor evangelist meetings with no masks, maskless, because they're all bathed in the blood of the Lamb, and the blood of the Lamb will keep the virus away. All that kind of nonsense. Yeah, right. So we went out there, and I wanted to, Katie wanted to do the live stream thing from there. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to sing something about this guy. So I had to write something. I wrote this the night before, and it's to the tune of a great old Joe Hill song called The Preacher and the Slave, which was about, Salvation Army going out there and collecting money for blah, 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 while everybody's unemployed. It's like, what, it was it's a cool song, but it's been around for like 100 years. And I took it and I rewrote it and I called it The Preacher and the Patsy. So it goes from The Preacher and the Slave to The Preacher and the Patsy. Now let me get gotta get the melody right here. There we go. Okay, cool. So I had to sing this. I sang this. I taped the lyric up onto the side of a cement wall and tried to sing it off of that. And it was kind of cluttery and all that, but it was fun. And I remember we talked to a couple of acolytes of this character. He's got followers, man, all over the place. And they would seem like, you'd say hello to them in the grocery store. You wouldn't think twice. Talk about the movies or something or the ball game, whatever. But when it came down to that, the guy actually said that he was bathed in the blood of the Lamb, and that was going to keep him safe. Okay. Long-haired preachers come out in the park, and they sing and they pray and they bark, take their masks off and throw them away. And when asked about science, they say, you will see by and by, when they give you better glasses in the sky. Science be damned, God's got a plan. You will see by and by, when you die, that's a lie. Oh, they sing about God's holy grave, how expensive it is to be saved. And when the collection plate comes into view, then they will have more money than you. But you'll be rich by and by, when they give you your percentage in the sky. Work and pray until that day, you'll get pie in the sky when you die. Oh, they're groovy and trendy and fine, and their message is always sublime. For the beauty of spreading the word is the business of fleecing the herd. Now some things I'll just never understand, how you could fall for such an obvious scam. I don't care how holy they seem, Jesus never drove a limousine. Thinking people of all countries unite, side by side we for science will fight. And when this world and its wealth we have gained, to the con men we'll sing this refrain. You will see by and by, when you get those silly myths out of your eye. And when you die, goodbye, because there isn't any pie up in the sky. That's a lie. Hardly ever sing it, so I gotta use the paper, you know what I mean. Oh, hold it a second now. I want to do this. Since we're all friends here, and we're getting by just fine. You know, we've all of us, you know, you and me and Katie and everybody, and you know, Brittany and Jason and everybody been through a lot of stuff these last couple of years here, and okay, oh, got another one in there. Oh, I could do that without talking here. Okay, this was, damn it. Oh well, we'd be fine. We'd be fine. We're gonna do like this. Hold a second. Don't listen to me. Anyway, there was a rumor, you know, like when the gigs all shut down, those of us that depended on doing our jobs in public in order to make a living, like, you know, me and every other musician that I know, we had to scramble. We had to learn alternative methods. So we all basically became our own TV stations. That's how I look at it, you know. We kind of did, you know. So we started doing this live streaming thing, you know. And to begin with, it was really weird. It's like, you know, how do I talk to a phone, you know, or a computer screen? How in the hell do I do this? There might be 78,000 people on the other end, but I don't know that. How do I talk this? How do I do this? It was weird. We'd stumble around. I would anyway, fumble around. And then Facebook, which is a place that a lot of us stream to because there's so many people on it. You know, it's like a town square kind of. That's what I feel. It's like a crossroads city square. They went through some upgrades or whatever they call it, you know, and they were going through some stuff. And the rumor went around that they were going to stop people from doing these live streams. They weren't going to allow it. And, you know, there were all sorts of reasons for why. I mean, it wasn't true. There were other things going on having to do with the copyrights and stuff, but that's everywhere. You know, that's everywhere. But anyway, it freaked me out, and it also pissed me off. So I wrote this song in response, because I've been doing this a long time, and it's called Can't Stop Me Now. You can take away my fingers, you can break my guitar, you can tie me to a flagpole, if that's the way you are. And you might think you've got me when you got me over there, but you don't understand me, because I'm singing everywhere. I've been singing out for centuries across the universe, every corner of the infinite, for better or worse. And I've sung in every language, on every kind of dare. You can't stop me singing, because I'm singing everywhere. No, you couldn't stop me then, and you can't stop me now. You can't stop me singing no matter how you try. You see, it's not just me. It's not just me doing this job. This is an ancient, hereditary, and not as human job, thousands and thousands of years. I was singing in the caves when there were no words, in the great migrations, the stories that were heard Up on the mountain singing high above the birds, I was learning to throw my voice all the better to be heard. And I was singing on the beach when the ships went out to sail outside the Bastille to get them out of jail. And I was singing the wind when they were only bound to fail. There was no other way to get there. I was singing on the trail, and you couldn't stop me then, and you can't stop me now. No, you can't stop me singing no matter how you try. Oh, I sang against empire with the king and the queen, against the gods of retribution that no one had ever seen, any kind of inquisition where the justice is extreme. I sang and I kept singing until I found a better dream. And I sang against slavery, against the owners of skin, against the child labor in the sweatshops they were working in. And I sang for better wages, for the right to take a breath, to live to be an old age, and to die a natural death. And you couldn't stop me then, and you can't stop me now. No, you can't stop me singing no matter how you try. Well, I don't sing for celebrity or a house on the hill or a baggage full of unmarked $100 bills. I don't care about your ego, and I'm not inclined to feed it. I won't sing for who you want me to. I'll sing for those who need it, and you won't see me leaving. I'll be gone with the wind, but you'll hear me, yes you will, when I'm coming back again. In the voices of the undertow, the voices of the crowd. I'm a motor mouth, and I can get loud, and you can write me off because I only play guitar. You can throw me under the bus, beneath the wheels of a car, but I'll be backing in your face when you least expect me there. I'll be singing in your future. I'll be singing everywhere, and you couldn't stop me then, and you can't stop me now. No, you can't stop me singing no matter how you try. Yes, that is a good one. I need to actually learn that song. So I'll just do a couple more for you. Is that all right? Katie, how you feeling?
I'm feeling like you can keep going so you're not going to be able to. It's like about 1 right now, but just keep going until you feel yourself getting running out of gas.
Okay, that'll work. That'll happen in a couple of days. Okay.
I was going to do some, but I'm enjoying listening to you for once.
Okay.
We'll do one on Wednesday with me and you.
Yeah. We need to do more of these. That same summer, when the preacher came to town, I was out riding the bike, feeling the sun come down, going to the quiet neighborhoods because I stay away from the thoroughfares. They're thorough, all right, but they're not fair. And something caught my eye. I had to turn around and ride back. It was a car seat, an automobile seat. You know, they make these car seats. Some of them, they open all the way up so you can sleep on them. And that's what this was. Opened all the way up. No car. Just a seat and somebody sleeping on it. I knew there was somebody sleeping on it because I saw the outline of the shape of the body underneath the blanket. There was just a blanket. And 1 foot sticking out of the bottom. Oh, I sat there. I watched. Yes, I did. Believe me. To make sure I saw some breathing in there. Yeah, it was breathing. About 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, something like that. I knew pretty soon whoever was sleeping in there would have to get up. So I rode off and I thought to myself, if I was that person having to wake up all exposed like that, I might want somebody, anybody, anywhere, to tell me I was okay. So I wrote this song to tell him he was okay, she was okay. Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Sleeping on a car seat without a bed sheet. Some cars don't have any seats, some seats don't have any cars. You get tired enough, street lights look just like stars. Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Now it's a quiet kind of neighborhood. Nothing ever really goes too far. Sunny day in the morning, and there you are. Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. One foot out, one foot in, one foot on the prowl. I'd rather be sleeping on a feather bed, but this'll have to do for now. Without a car around it, just right where you found it, sleeping on a car seat. Just like this. Somebody might come along, maybe somebody see your shoe. Somebody might steal your wallet, now what are you gonna do? Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Sleeping on a car seat. Black crows talking tree to tree. The day is a-getting warm. There's a turbulence advisory, but that's for another kind of storm. Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Sleeping on a car seat. One foot out and one foot in. Where you been, my friend? All around the world and back, and there you are in a sleeping sack. Without a car around it, right where you found it, sleeping on a car seat. Mouse crawling over your shoulder. Oh, mouse crawling over your shoulder. The drone flying over your head. Police sitting in a cruiser. Ain't no breakfast in bed. Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. That old globe needs a little cleaning out, doesn't it? A little polishing up. It's like there's a war between the people that want to keep it dirty and the people that want to get it clean. Gotta clean it up. Gotta clean it up, son. Clean it up. Clean it up, son. We gotta clean it up, son. Look what you've done. We gotta clean it up, son. Gotta get it clean. Prettiest world I ever seen. Now, some people want to leave the planet. That's their idea. I knew a guy down in Berkeley a long time ago. Can't remember his name, probably for the better. Now, he told me he never washed dishes. He never washed dishes. They just piled up. And I said, well, what happens when you run out? And he said, I move. That's what he said. He said, I move. Not. That's the end of that song. I think it might be Yipes. I'll try. song a long time ago was really hard to play. It's the reason I don't play it all that much. Or maybe I just only think it's really hard to play. But whatever. It's called Whose World Is This? And now that we are entering into yet another Cold War, at least that's what it seems like to me, I think I better dust this out. Goes like this. Four winds, seven seas, relative humanities. Everywhere I look, I see someone looking back at me. Nation states and borderlines, divided states of mind. Politics comes to blows, and everywhere one wants to know. Whose world is this? Whose world is this? Whose world is this? First world riding high, second world standing by, third world under fire. Funny how we all conspire. But we don't know 'cause we can't see how such a way could come to be. Riding on a spinning wheel, soon enough will be revealed. Whose world is this? Whose world is this? Whose world is this? What kind of world will our children receive after all is said and done? What kind of creed have we come to believe that they may never receive one? What kind of world will our children receive after all is said and done? What kind of creed must we come to believe if they are ever to receive one? Four winds, seven seas, relative humanities. Everywhere I look, I see someone looking back at me. Right. Now, that actually was pretty good. It wasn't exactly the way I would like it to be, but it didn't cluster, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, I'll finish up here with this song. Seems like a good. So I can get out of the way and. Oh, I ran out of battery. Maybe, maybe not. What's the most common proletarian sort of common person roll up your sleeves and get through life thing that we can do? And it's probably ride the bus. That's what I think. I used to think to myself when I was young that if I gave up music, if I ever stopped playing the guitar, this thing here, I'd be a bus driver. Because that has the same sort of feel to it. Hey, how you doing? People come on and sit down, talk to them, take them wherever they're going. Not wherever they're going, because you can't get off your route, right? I probably had a romanticized view of driving a bus, but so stay safe wherever you are. Say hello to people. Hello to your neighbors. Hello to your friends. Say, come on in. Like a sandwich? Give them some tea. Turn on the TV. No, don't turn on the TV. Keep the TV off. Turn off the TV. Tell stories to each other. Tell stories. That's what humanity did for probably 99.9% of its history. They told stories to each other. Before all this other stuff got invented. But the weird thing is, you know, all these... Oh boy. Oh, the world is talking to me. All these podcasts and swimming pools. Sounds like I'm listening to a swimming pool. And all the movies. You know, I'm not a movie person. If people get all excited to go out to movies, I kind of shrug my shoulder. I'd rather go out for a walk than go to a movie and sit in this, whatever. Don't get me started. Movies are great. I love movies, and I love the whole goddamn thing, but none of it works unless you got a story. It still comes down to the story, doesn't it? And when I first started riding the bus in Seattle, that's what I found out. I could sit up front with the driver and talk to him. And that's what I did all the time. It was great. I knew them and they knew me. And I knew more of the routes than they did half the time. There was take the bus downtown, take the number 5, just as an example. Number 5 used to cross and go downtown, go down Aurora, get off, wind up crossing Pine on 3rd Avenue. Okay? Now you had a choice as to which stop you're going to get off at. You all have that, of course, but in those days, the cops would come after you like you were a bandit or something if you walked against the light. You know, they give you tickets, they arrest you, take you to jail for jaywalking. I got several jaywalking tickets. I had to go to jaywalking school twice. No, sorry, once for jaywalking school and once for hitchhiking school. That's right, which is what you do if you don't want to pay a fine. So anyway, I learned the hard way because I had a schedule to play the band breaks, right? You're coming in on that number 5, you got to get off there at Pine Street on 3rd, and then as soon as you get out of the bus, you got to run. You got to run across the crosswalk. Because if you don't, the crosswalk light will turn red. You will have to stop and the bus will turn in front of you. No, sorry. The crosswalk light won't change, but the bus will turn in front of you. And you'll have to wait for the bus to turn, and by the time it turns, the light will be red. That's right. And you will miss that light, and you will be late for your appointments. I knew exactly how fast to walk to make all the lights green. I did. But I knew that about that corner, that bus stop. So one time I got off, and my foot hit the sidewalk and I started to run. And I got halfway across the street and I heard somebody running behind me. I thought, what is this? So I stopped and turned around, and here come this stranger with a big grin on his face. And I said, you know about that light? He says, yeah, if you don't run, you'll miss it because the bus will turn in front of you. So I don't know who that guy is, but if you are out there, this is for you, and it's for everybody else, and thanks for hanging out. It's called Everybody Rides the Bus, or Everybody Thanks the Driver. First time I rode the bus, I was hitching a ride. I was just a kid, flat broke. I got on board, sat down and got warm, and across town we rode. It took me just about a block away from exactly where I was trying to get. I said, thanks. He said, see you later, and I still remember it yet. And everybody rides the bus. Everybody, that's us. Everybody rides the bus. And everybody thanks the driver. I used to know exactly how much money I had by just looking in the palm of my hand. 25 pennies right down to the number, just like I had it all planned. And I'd sit up front with the driver, and we'd have ourselves a chat. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, when it's just us two. We'd ride the line like that. And everybody rides the bus. Everybody, that's us. Everybody rides the bus. And everybody thanks the driver. Now Sam was the driver, a juggler and a clown. He just loved to make people laugh. He had a heart attack driving on the viaduct with no way to get off of that path. He said, I need a little help with the wheel up here, whatever little help you can give. And all together they pulled it over, saving everybody's life but his. And everybody rides the bus. Everybody, that's us. Everybody rides the bus, and everybody thanks the driver. Now my friend Annette, she's a singing the blues and she's blowing harmonica too. But it's hard to make a living around here these days in this 6-figure hullabaloo. So she drives the bus 5 days out of 7, on the other 2 she grooves. The wheels and the wherewithal, that's just how the world moves. And everybody rides the bus. Everybody, that's us. Everybody rides the bus. And everybody thanks the driver. So if you want my autograph, because you like the way I play the guitar, go ask a bus driver first, 'cause I'll never get you that far. And everybody rides the bus. Everybody, that's us. Everybody rides the bus. And everybody thanks. Everybody rides the bus. Everybody, that's us. Everybody rides the bus. And everybody thanks the driver. Thank you. And I'll see you next time. Stay safe.